वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीननाथाय हरे कृष्णा. So in the 13th chapter, now Krishna is summarizing one by one topic. So he told about the jiva. Now Krishna has started talking about the prakriti. So yesterday we saw that Krishna told that a sober person, a person or intelligent person, we can say, knows that all the activities are carried out by prakriti, and jiva is alipta, he is independent, he is not involved in all those activities. And now this is actually explanation of prakriti, mainly that how prakriti is acting and jiva is not acting. So the same concept or the same idea is in this verse also. Yada bhuta prutak bhavam
Yada bhuta pratak bhavam
ekastam anupashyati
ekastam anupashyati
tat eva cha vistaram
tata eva cha vistaram
brahma sampadyate tada.
brahma sampadyate tada.
Okay, please chant.
Yada bhuta pratak bhavam ekastam anupashyati tata eva cha vistaram brahma sampadyate tada.
Okay. For translation and purport. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains the Brahman conception. Purport. When one can see that the various bodies of living entities arise due to the different desires of the individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, one actually sees. In the material conception of life, we find someone, a demigod, someone, a human being, a dog, a cat, etc. This is material vision, not actual vision. This material differentiation is due to a material conception of life. After the destruction of material body, the spirit soul is one. The spirit soul, due to contact with the material nature, gets different types of bodies. When one can see these, he attains spiritual vision, thus being freed from differentiations like man, animal, big, low, etc. One becomes purified in his consciousness and able to develop Krishna consciousness in his spiritual identity. How he then sees things will be explained in the next verse. So here, in one way, if we look this verse, it's actually the equal vision. Krishna is again telling about how to see this world by equally or sameness. So we say, right, the uniqueness in different things, or there's some English word, right? Common things in different things. So the living entities, maybe different bodies, different color, different. Everybody is same, not same. Every living being looks different. We see all the people around us in one day. There will be no people who look same. So that is the variety in the material world, right? So if we try to find out each and every variety, we cannot, with our this mind, material mind, we cannot comprehend how it is made. But we can look the common thing in all these living beings. So actually, the common thing starts from the say birth. So like one family, right? So if my family, So myself, my wife, or my mother, or my son, or my sister, when anybody looks at us, they may think, okay, he's from this family, right? So that is the common point that anybody tries to find out in our general life also. Right? We try to find out common point in different peoples, how we can connect. That is our mind's process of thinking, to connect. It needs something which is common, then we can relate. Our simple example is, if we want to remember many things, we try to connect them, how we can remember them. So we always need something, common point or common understanding. So when there are arguments or anything, we always say, let us come to common understanding, right? So that is what actually the basics, or uh, on that basis everything is built up. So all the living beings are having different bodies or different structure, whatever, based on their own desires. Hmm. So, so the desire is a common thing that everybody has, but this is not the soul's desire. This is the mind's desire. The soul is still independent in the last verse. Also, how these living entities um, created. So they are created from Mahavishnu. Uh, that is the common point. Or when everything is pralaya comes and everything is annihilated, everything goes into Mahavishnu again. So everybody goes in the same place. So though in this country we are in different countries or whatever, but this whole universe of ours is going to go into Mahavishnu, and that will be one unit. As a one unit, we will go. Everybody goes into Mahavishnu, and when the next creation starts, and everything comes out. So the desires go with us. The soul remains the same. So everything this is also done by Prakriti. These are also the changes of Prakriti. So a sober person, Srila Prabhupada says, like, it's not possible for anybody to have this vision. For a sober person means a person who has spiritual understandings. For after reading Bhagavad Gita several times or doing chanting several times, still it, or at least for me, I can say it is not possible to see the sameness, because we are so much caught up in the body that we get carried away. But that is the mode of passion. We get carried away. We forget the knowledge and we get carried away. So if we see, if I'm staying in Japan, if I see outside, when I see 10 people, I immediately, my mind starts like, oh, these 8 are Japanese, 2 are foreigners. And then 2, one is Indian, one is from US. Something like this, the mind automatically does. So that is how we are caught up in this bodily structure that automatically works like that. But at that moment, if I can remember the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, that no, though they have the different bodies, the origin is the same. The souls are maybe different, but the origin is the same. Krishna says all the living beings are my part and parcel. So origin is same. But if I can be in that mode of goodness little bit and the knowledge comes, then I can see, oh, they are all same. I don't have to differentiate. But our situation is, we are so much caught up in this bodily consciousness, we forget. At least after reading Bhagavad Gita, we know that we are not doing something correct. I cannot say wrong, but if we want to be in proper consciousness, use our human birth correctly for the correct purpose, then we have to avoid doing this differentiation. But it's because of bodily thing. But saying this, it's not like that the human has soul, tiger also has soul. So I go into tiger's cage. Oh, you are also same. You are also my nature. Your nature is same. No, that is not intelligence. That is foolishness. Because tiger has a body in which it will act like tiger. So it will look at everything as its food. So even if you go with good intention, the tiger he himself will look from his bodily condition, and he will try to kill us. So if we try to do this thing, we are not using our intelligence correctly, right? So that's why intelligence is given. So where to act, how to act, with whom not to act. Everything is intelligence. That's for that intelligence is there. We have to use it uh, to be in proper consciousness. So two principles of bhakti are: always do the things those are favorable for bhakti, and don't do the things which impact your bhakti or spiritual practice. So these principles we have to apply and use our intelligence. Uh, So when Arjuna was fighting in the war, he had to use his intelligence, which arrow to shoot, when to shoot, uh, from where he should bring that arrow, which mantra he should use. So that is also intelligence, right? So the battle also needs lot of intelligence, lot of planning, and then they execute. So intelligence is used there also. So it's not that Arjuna stopped his intelligence. No, Krishna tells him, you have to use your everything you have, you use and you fight. But don't get result for attached to results. But you use whatever you have. So intelligence. So we also have intelligence. So we have to intelligently look at the world, intelligently take our decisions, which will not impact our bhakti. Intelligently associate with the people uh, who will not degrade ourselves, who will help us to raise our consciousness. Don't go into the unnecessary fightings, unnecessary politics, unnecessary problematic situations. No need to go. That is intelligence, because these things are distraction. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, like we are reading, or in Bhagavatam also, Jada Bharat story, if you see, after losing 2 lives, when he takes finally birth as Jada Bharat, though he is born in the Brahman family, he knew in that life that ultimate goal is to understand your reality and your relationship with God. Whatever happens outside that in this world is false. So he internally was very conscious, but outside he behaved in such a way that people will not take him seriously. Uh, so he can practice his bhakti. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita today only we were reading that a devotee or a practitioner of yogi, though he may be very advanced in the yoga, uh, if his real purpose is to attain the goal of God consciousness, he will not show that. He will not show that to everyone and try to get attraction. The purpose is not to hide, but the purpose is to avoid the distraction. So the Uttam Adhikari Bhaktas, who are at very high level of consciousness, they don't distract themselves. They are very focused what they want to do and what is their path. And to avoid that distraction, they don't entangle in so many things. They reduce the thing. This idea of simple living, this all is in Shastra. You should have very less things in your room, so you don't get distracted. So now it's introduced in a new way, like simple living and less is more, all these concepts, right? But this is from the beginning. It's there that don't do the things which distract your mind. Now it has to be introduced in the Western world because people are getting so much distracted. So what they are trying to do, they avoid the things that are around us. So that is also a way to be focused. So here Krishna is telling that please understand that whatever is happening is the changes of Prakriti. And you have to stop looking at the different bodies with different identities, and you have to understand how the living beings are expanded all over this world. What is the origin? Why they are expanded like this? So once you have this knowledge, you have to apply it. Try to see the world with a different eyes, different vision. So how this can be done? How he sees the things, like the next verse Krishna tells. But at this stage of this shloka, at least we can try to see the things as they are, even if we are not able to see. Even if you are, if, say tomorrow, if I go outside and I see, oh, this is he's Japanese, he's Indian, he's US. At least if I am in knowledge, I will understand. Oh, I am differentiating. That is also higher consciousness. That you are doing something which you are not supposed to do. That is also a higher level of consciousness. So that also helps in future to overcome those problems. So it's always better to be honest and try to apply this knowledge. And so Bhagavad Gita is not just to read or understand, and it's the book, or it's the Bhagavad Gita is to be lived. Then it becomes the real Bhagavad Gita. So let's try to see what we do. Hare Krishna. And how to see, next verse we'll see in the next verse. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. So any comments, additions, subtractions? Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, thank you.